The clock on the security desk glowed 2:47 a.m., its red digits bleeding into the dark. I hadn't closed my eyes once since the elevator incident last night, since the thing left those dripping footprints that weren't supposed to exist. Tonight, the building was quieter. Too quiet. The hum of fluorescent lights above me seemed muffled, like someone had thrown a blanket over the entire office. Even the vending machine in the corner, usually buzzing faintly, was dead. But the silence wasn't empty. It pressed in heavy, like the whole place was holding its breath, waiting. My walkie crackled. Control to floor 2. Do you copy? I grabbed it, grateful for human sound. Yeah, I'm here. Go ahead. Static answered. Then, just beneath the static, something whispered. Not words. Just the sound of breath sliding past a throat that shouldn't be on the other end. I dropped the walkie. Daisy, my golden retriever, wasn't with me tonight. No comfort. No warning. It was just me, the cameras, and the crawling sense that I'd stepped into someone else's nightmare. From the corner monitor I saw it. The CCTV feed of the lobby flickered, the grainy black and white showing the revolving doors slowly turning on their own, though no one was there to push them. One slow turn, then another, and another, like the building was letting someone in. The security monitors buzzed faintly, lines of static crawling across the feed as the revolving doors spun once more. Each slow turn felt like the tick of a clock, dragging out the silence. I pushed back from my desk, my chair screeching across the linoleum. I told myself it was the wind. Maybe the storm outside pushed against the doors. But deep down I knew better. The lobby was sealed tight. No storm could move steel and glass like that. I grabbed my flashlight and made my way down. Each step echoed against the stairwell walls, like the building itself was mimicking me. When I reached the lobby, the air was cold, colder than it should have been. My breath fogged in front of me. The doors stood still, perfectly aligned, as though they'd never moved. But the wet footprints on the polished marble told me otherwise. Bare feet, pointing inward, leading deeper into the building. My light caught them just enough to glisten before they disappeared into the shadows of the east corridor. I whispered, "Not again!" But my voice got swallowed by the silence. The corridor stretched long, with offices on both sides. Most doors closed, blinds drawn. The kind of hallway where you always feel watched, even when you're alone. My shoes squeaked against the wet tile where the footprints continued. They didn't waver, each step deliberate, as though whoever or whatever had left them was leading me somewhere. Halfway down I passed the break room. The door was open just a crack, light humming inside. I shouldn't have looked, but I did. Inside, the vending machine's glass was fogged up from the inside, like something breathing against it. I leaned closer, and for a split second I saw it. A pale hand pressed against the glass, dragging down slowly before vanishing. I stumbled back, heart pounding. The break room was empty. Chairs neatly tucked, coffee pot cold. But the vending machine hummed louder now, almost growling. I forced myself away, down the hall, chasing the trail of footprints. They stopped in front of the elevator. The doors were wide open, waiting. The open elevator yawned before me, its interior lit by a single trembling bulb. The wet footprints ended just inside, dark against the steel floor. I knew I shouldn't step in. Every instinct screamed at me to turn back. But if I didn't face it, if I didn't at least see what was happening, I'd never make it through another night here. I stepped in. The doors slid shut immediately, as if the building itself had been waiting for me. I pressed the button for the ground floor. Nothing. The elevator groaned, then lurched downward. My stomach clenched as the floor counter ticked. B1, B2, B3. It didn't stop. The air grew damp, smelling of mildew and rust. The light flickered until I was left in near darkness. Then the elevator shuddered to a halt. The doors creaked open to reveal a floor I didn't know existed. Concrete walls. Exposed pipes dripping steadily. The sound of water echoing into blackness. And at the far end of the hallway, something stood. It wasn't moving. It wasn't breathing. Just standing there, half shrouded in shadow, watching me. The figure remained still, too still. My flashlight beam trembled as I raised it, illuminating peeling paint, rust stains, and water trickling down the walls. But when the light touched the figure, it wasn't a figure. It was a mannequin. One of those glossy, faceless things used for corporate displays. It shouldn't have been there. There were no retail spaces in this building. Yet here it stood, propped against the wall, its blank head tilted slightly toward me. I laughed nervously, more out of fear than humor. But the sound echoed unnaturally, repeating back to me in distorted whispers. I stepped closer. My flashlight caught something carved into the mannequin's chest. 3 deep gouges, parallel, almost like claw marks. Before I could move, the elevator behind me slammed shut. Darkness swallowed me whole. And then, the mannequin's head snapped toward me. My breath hitched. The mannequin shouldn't have moved. Couldn't have. But I knew what I saw. The way its head jerked toward me, like a marionette pulled by invisible strings. The silence in the basement was heavy, broken only by the slow drip of water hitting metal somewhere in the dark. My flashlight beam trembled as I raised it again. The mannequin stood in the same place. But its head was now angled differently, facing me directly. My chest tightened. I whispered, "No, no, no, no." The air felt heavier, thicker, every breath sharp like swallowing glass. I backed toward the elevator doors and slammed the button. Nothing. The panel was dead. Then came the sound. Not footsteps, not voices, something else. The sound of plastic scraping against concrete. Low. Bragging. The mannequin's arm twitched. And then it took a step forward. I turned and ran. My footsteps splashed through puddles, echoing violently off the concrete walls. The scraping sound behind me grew louder, faster, as if the mannequin's stiff joints were bending in ways they never should. I bolted past doors that had no business being there. Steel doors marked with faded numbers, like cells in some underground prison. Every handle I tried was locked. The scraping grew closer. My flashlight flickered. In the brief moments of darkness, I swore I could feel it right at my back. At the end of the corridor, I found a stairwell. I shoved through, slamming the door behind me, my chest heaving. The scraping stopped. But the silence didn't comfort me. Felt like something was waiting, listening. The stairwell stretched up and down endlessly, spiraling into shadow. I aimed my flashlight upward, praying to see the familiar ground floor door. But the steps above me twisted into blackness. No exit signs, no doors. Just concrete stairs ascending forever. I aimed the beam downward. The stairs plunged into a deeper void, dripping with condensation. And then, something knocked. 3 sharp raps. From below. The sound echoed up the stairwell like a taunt. My throat tightened. I gripped the railing so hard my knuckles ached. I whispered to myself, "It's the same. Followed me here." A metallic groan echoed above me, like a door slowly creaking open. When I looked up, I saw it. A figure leaning over the railing several flights up. Too far to see clearly, but unmistakably human-shaped. And it was watching me. The figure above didn't move. It didn't speak. But the way it leaned over the railing, it was waiting. I stepped back, torn between running down toward the knocks or climbing upward toward the figure. Either choice felt like walking into a trap. The stairwell lights flickered once. Then they cut out entirely. Darkness swallowed everything. The only light left was my failing flashlight, its beam growing weaker with every passing second. And then, without warning, something whispered in my ear. "Don't look up." The voice wasn't mine. The words still rang in my ears. "Don't look up." My chest heaved. My grip on the flashlight shook so badly the beam jittered across the walls, slicing the darkness into fragments. Something was breathing with me. Not above, not below, right beside me. The hairs on my arm lifted as the air grew hot, moist against my cheek. Slowly, mechanically, I turned my head. Nothing, just empty air. Then a hand brushed my shoulder. Cold. Wrong. I screamed and bolted up the stairs, 2-3 steps at a time, slamming my shoulder into the wall, barely able to see. Behind me, the stairwell exploded in echoes, the sound of countless feet pounding upward in unison, chasing me. But when I looked back, no one was there. I stopped only when I saw it. Door. Bright red, standing at the landing where there should have been only concrete. The paint peeled in long curls, the handle rusted over. Above the door frame, crudely scratched into the concrete, were the words, "Do not enter." Every part of me screamed to turn back. But the pounding footsteps below were closer now. Louder. They weren't echoes anymore. I shoved the door open. It led to a hallway I'd never seen. Unlike the basement's industrial rot, this place was different. The walls were lined with wooden paneling and faded wallpaper that looked straight out of the 1940s. The air smelled of mildew and cigarette smoke, stale and heavy. At the far end of the hall, a single light bulb swung gently, though there was no draft. And just beneath it, child's tricycle. I stepped slowly, every board creaking under my weight. The tricycle sat dead center, its handlebars twisted unnaturally, one wheel bent like it had been crushed. I crouched, flashlight trembling. On the wall behind it were more scratch marks. Not claws this time, letters gouged deep. "Leave." The tricycle's front wheel spun, slowly, on its own. I backed up, flashlight shaking so hard the beam wavered wildly. That's when the bulb above flickered out, plunging the hallway into choking dark. But I still heard it. The sound of the tricycle rolling, wheels squeaking, moving toward me. Ran. The hallway ended in a heavy wooden door. I shoved through and stumbled into a massive office. Dusty desks, rows of old typewriters, paper stacked high like no one had touched it in decades. And at the far wall sat a rotary phone. Black, polished, out of place in all the ruin. Rang. Thrill. Piercing. The sound cut through my skull. Froze. Every instinct screamed not to answer. But my hand moved anyway, trembling, lifting the receiver to my ear. First silence, then a voice, whispering, crooked, but "You shouldn't be here." I dropped the phone. It hit the desk with a clang. But the voice didn't stop. It kept whispering, even without the receiver lifted. Ran through hallways that bent in impossible ways, down stairwells that seemed to loop back on themselves. My flashlight flickered, weaker with every second, the beam cutting across endless doors that led nowhere. Then suddenly I was back. Lobby. The revolving doors. The security desk. The monitors humming. Like nothing had happened. But the footprints were still there. Fresh. Leading away from the revolving doors. I backed up slowly, chest heaving, praying this was over. Then every monitor flickered. One by one, each screen filled with the same image. The mannequin. Closer, closer, until its blank, faceless head pressed against the glass. And then every monitor shut off. Darkness swallowed the lobby. Behind me, 3 knocks rattled the glass of the revolving door. The knocks grew louder, shaking the glass as the monitors buzzed back to life, showing something stepping into the lobby that wasn't human. I froze because it wasn't outside anymore. It was inside, watching me, breathing, waiting. The lobby was suffocatingly silent. The monitors had gone black. My flashlight gave one final flicker before dying altogether, leaving only the faint glow of the exit sign above the revolving doors. 3 sharp knocks. Froze. Every nerve screamed at me to run, but my legs were locked in place. The knocks came again, louder this time, vibrating through the glass. The revolving door shuddered, the metal frame groaning under the pressure. I wanted to believe it was just the wind, or some trick of the building settling. But then the final knock came, long, dragging, almost deliberate. And when I dared to look, a face pressed against the glass. Not a human face. Smooth, blank. A mannequin's head, tilting slowly as if studying me. My breath hitched. I stumbled back, heart hammering, eyes darting to the exit sign. If I ran, maybe I could make it. Then the lights in the lobby flickered on. Every monitor lit up again. And they didn't show the mannequin anymore. They showed me, standing there in the lobby, alone, frozen. But in the reflection on the screen, there was something behind me. I didn't turn. I didn't need to. I felt the breath on my neck. Cold, but heavy. The screen fizzled out. Darkness. The camera slowly pulls back from the outside of the office building. The glass revolving doors rattle faintly. A shadow passes behind them. Then the lights of the entire building flicker once, twice, before going out completely. The screen went black. The lights died. And in that moment, I understood. This building was never empty. It was waiting, watching. And now, so is something else. If you felt the fear creeping in tonight, imagine what it's like when you're really there. Don't watch the next part alone, because if you do, you might not make it out either. Like, subscribe, and share if you're brave enough to return to the night shift horror.